Okay, there we go. Hello and welcome everybody. Oops. My name is Kathleen and I am here as your tech coach. Tonight we are going to talk about how to use PDF files in ways that might help your business grow. It's the kind of thing that people are used to receiving, but they don't always think about how to use it for their own business. So that is what we're going to talk about tonight. So get yourself comfy, get a pen and paper so you can take some notes, and let's dive in. And as always, if you have other tech questions, feel free to go ahead and throw them in the comments. This is just a topic we're starting with tonight, okay? All right, let me get the intro started and then we will dive in. Hello and welcome. My name is Kathleen and I am here as your tech coach. For those of you who are new here, first of all, welcome. Basically, the story behind this show is I do technology as my day job. It's also my hobby because I love all the possibilities and options in it. And I am the person that most people turn to in my world when they have a question, they're looking for recommendations, they're having a problem, so on and so forth. And hence this show, because I have come to realize that not everybody has somebody to turn to, and now you do. So I bring a topic every week, but you can always throw other business technical questions into the comments, and I will get to those as we move along. All right? So let's dive in on tonight's topic, which is how you can use PDF files to help your business grow. Now, to start with, we should probably cover the basics, right? Because probably at this point, everybody has seen PDF files. They probably use them. Sorry, I'm just making sure everything is up. But not everybody thinks about actually using them themselves, right? So you're used to like going to get information, or maybe when you go to get information from your insurance company or whatever, everything is provided as PDF files these days. But not everybody thinks about the fact that you could be doing PDF files yourself. So let's just back up for a second here. I want to make sure I've got everybody's comments up. See, this is why I do production for other people, because it is so much easier when somebody else is running the show for you, and then you can just concentrate. I think that's not this show, that's this show. Here we go. Okay. And yes, by the way, I did get the lights fixed. So I'm trying something new. I've got a light off to the side here that has different color tones to it. And the color tone I used last week was clearly not the one to use. So let's talk first about what is a PDF. So PDF stands for Portable Document Format. It's actually something that's been around since the 90s, right? So I mean, in technical terms, that makes it pretty old. The nice thing about it is a standard. So it is something that Adobe created, and they have tools for the reader and for creating PDFs and all that kind of stuff. But in order to get it widespread acceptance, they had to release it as a standard. So it's not like PDF files you don't have to necessarily use an Adobe tool for, because they released it as sort of what they call, it's not quite open source, but it's kind of like that, where everybody can use it and they don't have to pay Adobe for it because it's a standard format file type. Not that they don't want you to use their tools, because of course they do. But the reality is that it's free, and it is something that everybody at some point has used. The other nice thing about it is PDF files can be more than text. Now see, this is where like possibilities start to open up for us, because most people are used to getting PDF files for text files, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, totally works. But there's so much more that you can do with them that most people don't realize. So that's what we're going to dive into a little bit. But first, let's talk about why these are so handy. So the first is the thing that I just mentioned, right? It's a universal. Everybody can see these. Whether they use a reader tool, which there are many of, and they are free. At this point, any modern browser can just read them on their own. So they don't even need a special tool for it. You don't have to worry about it. It's the kind of thing that is as frictionless as could possibly be. So when you're trying to provide services, information to your customers, that's key, right? You don't want to send them something, say, hey, check this out. This has got the information we talked about, and then have them be frustrated because they can't open it, they can't read it. That is not going to be a problem with PDF files, because they just work everywhere. And there's a bunch of different tools that will open them, and your customer probably won't even notice like what tool opened it, because they'll just double click on it and it will open for them, because whether they're on Mac or PC or they're doing it from a mobile device, there is something on that device that says, oh, it's a PDF file, I know what to do with that. So it's really easy. And also something that can be secured. So depending on what kind of information you're sending, what that feature may or not be helpful. but it's good to know that it's there. So you can lock it down so that they can't edit it. You can lock it down so that they can't share it. You can put passwords on it. There's all kinds of stuff. Plus, in and of itself, the format is pretty secure itself too because of the way that the PDF encrypts itself. So in a lot of ways, let's put it this way, okay? It's getting to the point where even the legal industry, which takes a while to acclimate to new technology, they've actually been using PDF files for quite a while, and they are actually admissible in a court of law for like contracts and that kind of stuff. So you don't have to worry about that. They are secure, they are well accepted, and they're not something that's going to like confuse anybody. The next reason to use them is they are so easy to create. If you're just going to create a basic one, you probably already are set up to do it. So you can use whatever word processor you're using, whatever graphics tool you use, spreadsheet tools, the browser itself, all will print to a PDF. Basically what happens is, and it's probably already set up on your machine that way, which is a huge savings for you, but on the off case that it isn't, I'm going to put some links into the descriptions on Periscope and on Facebook and on YouTube. Sorry, Periscope, I can't do that there. But I will also put it on my website. So if you go to yourtechcoach.net, I will make sure that the links are there. But basically what happens on your system is most of them come pre-set up so that all you do when you go into print, you will see print as PDF as a printer. So it's what they call a virtual printer. And what it will do is it will take whatever content it is that you're looking to print and turn that into a PDF file that then you can email out to anybody, post on a website, so on and so forth. Super easy. You don't have to be super technical. You don't have to know anything technical. You don't have to buy something special, although you can if you want to up your game a little bit, which we'll talk about in a minute. But for just quick and easy, printing it out and sending it out to somebody and not having to worry about do they have the right tool to open it, PDF is the way to go. Another nice thing for it is that PDFs are designed to compress the content without losing any quality. So no matter what you put in it, it's going to create as tight and small a file as it possibly can, which will definitely help because some people's email system, sometimes maybe your email system, has a cap on how big the file can be that you're sending out. So maybe something that you need to send out, maybe you've got a document that you're sending out to a client, maybe you do landscape work and so you're showing them different plans. Trying to get that to your client via email can be difficult because the file sizes may be too big, they won't have the right tool to read it in. But if you turn it into a PDF, it compresses it down, it makes it easy for them to open and read, and that way you can get it out to them quickly. You can also create what they call interactive documents. So you can, now this is a little bit more advanced, but not terribly. You can create things you can create Acrobat files, PDF files, that have forms in them. So you could have a document, maybe it's a contract, maybe you're collecting information from potential clients, maybe you're starting a project and you have a usual set of questions that you like to send out. And maybe today you send them out as an email, or you mail them a document and they have to write it and send it back to you. You can streamline the whole process and even put it directly into a database if you really want to geek out a little bit, just a tiny bit. You can create a document, you can add forms to it, and so they can just open it up. They can type in whatever information you're requesting, hit send, and it goes right to you. It sounds super high tech, and it's kind of impressive when people see that you're providing that to them, but they're really not hard to set up at all. We talked about the fact that it's mobile accessible, which I'm just going to hit one more time because that's so important, right? Everybody's doing everything from mobile devices, whether it's Chromebooks, their phones, whatever. A foldable phone, we won't even go there. But there's all kinds of different ways that people are doing these things today, and you want to make sure that it works across everything because not everybody has necessarily a desktop or a laptop anymore. Doesn't matter. They can do this from their phone. They can do it from any device. If it is a device that can access the internet, it is a device that can read PDF files. Huge win. These documents are completely searchable, so that's huge for accessibility, but also to help people just kind of go through their documents. So they literally can go in, there's a little search bar that comes up, and they can just go in and search and look for things. Let's see what else. Those are probably the big ones for you. I mean, you can also, you can also tie them into analytics if you want to do that. Again, it's not necessarily something you need to do, but it is certainly an option for you should you want to do that. So that's basically what a PDF is and what the benefits are. So let's talk a little bit now about what it is that you can put into them. You can put anything into them. That's really the short version of this. You can put anything that is electronic into a PDF file. It's mind-blowing. It really is a cool tool. But so let's break it down a little bit. So obviously text, right? If you have a word processing document of some sort, right? If you have a text file, even that you want to send them, if you want to send them an email without them having to necessarily have the same email program as you can print your email and send it to them that way. You can send them images. Now here, this is a big win for a lot of people, because depending on what it is, what your line of business is, you may be sending them file formats that they're not used to seeing, particularly with images. But if you can either take your image as is, if it's already one of these formats, or if you can export to one of these formats, you can do it. So it's all the basics. It's TIFF, JPEG, GIF, all those SVG, any graphics format basically. You can go ahead and you can put them in there and it will totally work for them. And again, they don't need to have a native tool to view it. It'll just be there for them. And again, it will compress it. So if you've got, especially if you're creating photographs or blueprints or whatever, those can be gigunda big files, right? But when you either export it, or if the native format is one of these, you can save it out to that and put that in a PDF, or you can just print right to PDF like we were talking about before. Alrighty. The other thing that you can put into these PDF files that most people don't realize, you can actually embed videos, right? I mean, this is all kinds of, so it could be videos, it could be an audio file, any multimedia type of thing, you can go ahead and put it in here. And it's simple. Like you go in, it's like tools, add media, and then you can either add video with or without sound and embed it. So sometimes that's a lot better and easier for your customers than sending them a link. Because maybe, when they want to look at it, they're not online, or maybe the link has a problem, or, there's so many ways that a link can go wrong. So while, providing a link can be a good way to do it, but it's just sometimes so much easier to embed it. And again, you get the benefit of a little extra compression on it, which particularly for video files, they can be huge. So this gives you another way to break that down a little bit, make it a little bit tighter, and make it easier for them. And that's what this is all about. This is all about making it easier for you to give information to your clients, right? Or potential clients, right? We're all about the potential clients in this world. Alrighty. So let us talk about how you might use this in your business, right? Because that's what this is. That's really why you came here. No worries. So I'm just going to run through a checklist of things. Maybe you have been blogging. Maybe you have information that you find you keep giving people over and over time. So you can create checklists that you can provide to your employees and or to your customers. You can take maybe blog posts, or maybe you're just written like a little how-to booklet and make that. You can do little booklets, like, promotional kinds of things. You can do brochures, right? So maybe instead of going and printing the brochures, because maybe the people are not going to walk into your shop and pick them up, or maybe you're not going to, be available to, maybe it's not going to be a situation where you can just hand them a brochure. You could email it to them, right? Maybe they don't want to give you their mailing address, but they'll give you their email address. Okay, so maybe you do have ones that you send out through the postal service, but not everybody wants more mail coming to their house. No problem. You can take that same brochure that you have in a physical format and give it to them in a PDF format. All the same information, the beautiful images, graphics, whatever, and give it to them that way. We talked about videos. It's a great way to share how-to videos. So if you think about, so let's say you have a product like these things, right? that requires a certain amount of how-to knowledge, right? What you could do is as part of the invoice that you send somebody when they place an online order, or if they're ordering in the store, you could attach as part of your thank you a little video in a PDF file, or a little how-to booklet that you send out to them that helps them use whatever it is that they purchased a little bit better, a little bit easier. Maybe it's something that they have to put together, like, when you go to IKEA and you buy anything, you come home and you have a project now. So maybe whatever it is that you've sent them has the same kind of thing. Or maybe there's some general troubleshooting or installations tips that you want to share with them. What a great way to anticipate a possible need and give them the answer before they've even asked for it, right? they're going to think you're a rock star if you do that kind of stuff for them. And you can do it in a PDF all so easy. We talked about the fact that you can embed forms and collect information and get your information that way. So much easier for people than having to write it and then maybe try to scan it or mail it to you. Saves everybody so much time. Another benefit to this is a lot of people like to send out documents that maybe are using fonts that maybe not everybody has, right? You paid a little bit of money, had somebody create one for you, or you purchased a font that you really like. By sending it to them as a PDF file, you can embed the fonts. Just make sure you have the legal right for that. There are rules around that, but as long as you've purchased it with the rights to embed it into PDFs, they will get your document with your beautiful fonts without them having to have it on their system. Because, just in case you don't know, if you've used non-standard fonts, so if you use anything besides like Times Roman, Verdania, Arial, pretty much that, and you send somebody a document and you haven't embedded the fonts, what happens is when they try to open it, first of all, it'll probably look terrible because all the sizing and spacing will be off. They may even get an error or warning message, which some people get apprehensive about, telling them that there's a problem, and because they don't understand the problem, their brain is going to go right to malware. You can skip all of those issues by just putting them into a PDF, embedding the fonts, and then it's going to look exactly how you want it to look, and they don't have any stress on their side. You can also collect signatures using PDF files. Now, this is a little bit more advanced stuff. You do need to have one of the creation tools for that. And we'll just talk about those real quick in a minute, but it's not a big thing. Literally what it is you do have to buy one of the editor tools. And there's a wide price range, so you can get one that you can afford. And basically what you do is you take your document, you turn it into a PDF, print to it, or whatever works better for you, and then usually go in, there's usually a signature option, and you just draw a little box. And then when you send that file to the person, that box is there, and they can, with their finger, or if they have a stylus, they can just go ahead and put their signature in, or you can also just type into it their name, and that is now becoming accepted as a signature because there's a little block that comes up that says, by typing in this, you're acknowledging that you're signing this, using this, and so that's another easy way for you to collect those kinds of things. You can also use PDFs for scanned material. So like say, for example, you needed to send somebody a document or a copy of a document. Maybe you had been doing business for them for a while and they're like, hey, could we get a copy of that contract we signed with you a year ago? Maybe at that point you didn't have it online, but you can take your phone, take a picture of it, save it to PDF, and then send it to them that way. And that way you have your master copy and they have the copy that they requested, right? Another thing to keep in mind is you can actually use PDFs inside your business for you. So all of the paperwork that you get, right? All of the receipts, all of the invoices for things that you purchase, you can either scan on a real scanner or use your phone to scan, because that's what most people do now, save it as a PDF, and now instead of having a file folder filled with thousands of pieces of paper, you can create folders out, on your computer, and then of course back them up, that has all that kind of stuff, all this stuff for your accountant, and that way when the time comes you can just take it all, send it off to them in a zip file, and be good to go. And it's always going to be there for you to find it. It's so much harder to go find that piece of paper. Where did I put it? I think I put it in this box. No, I think it's in that folder. If you just have it on your system, you've got a nice structure for it, you can just go in, find what you want, and boom, be ready to go. Pretty simple, right? All right, it looks like we're doing good here, so I'm going to keep rolling. So let's talk about the tools. Hang on one sec. Let's start at the beginning. Okay. This one. Which magic button do we need? All right. So we talked about when you send out a PDF, then there's going to be some way for people to read it. Great. I've had the wrong camera up the whole time. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that again. That's what happens when I have my... Oh, see, that's why, because I've been hitting the wrong buttons. Okay. So in order for somebody to see a PDF, they have to be able to read it. Now, most systems just automatically will show it to them in something that works for them. If they're looking at it through a browser, the browsers will handle it. But they can also get readers. So Acrobat Reader is actually free from Adobe. And so they can just go to getadobe.com/reader and get it. I would just suggest if you're going to have people install it, tell them to do a couple of things. Tell them to turn this off. Okay, go through and basically tell them to uncheck all the check marks, because Adobe tries to help you, by including other things when you download the reader. Really what it is they're trying to make money off of it by selling access to companies like McAfee. But they don't need to do that. So help anybody that you tell to install the Acrobat Reader, if you decide to go that way, help them by telling them to go and take off all the check marks. Now this is saying, Windows 10 English, but it will load, it checks when you go to the site to see, what system you're on and what your default language is, and it will adjust for that. They've got versions for everybody. And then all I have to do is say install now. It's a tiny little file, 156 megabytes in this world is small. And so that's real easy to go. It is free, but it isn't, like I said, it's not necessary. They can totally look at it in any modern browser and be good to go. When you want to get into things like, let's say, putting forms in, or maybe you want to combine multiple files into one file, one PDF file, which is totally doable, then you're going to need to bump up a little bit, okay? Because your basic, print to PDF solution is probably not going to work for you. You're going to need one of the editors. Now, Adobe has one, of course, right? This is their tool. You used to be able to buy one, but of course you can't do that anymore. But you can get yourself a license. It looks like it's $17 a month now. And the nice thing is you can just, like, if you just want to do these, like, you've got a whole list of them and you just need to crank them out, you could just pay for a month or two and then cancel it and go that way. For most people, they find it's better to just have a tool available. So this is one. This is Nitro. They're always running really good deals. This is actually the one that I use. And this will give you all the functionality. You can add forms. You can add signature boxes. If you create this thing and then you find like there's this one typo that you couldn't believe is there, and you're like rushing to get this out because you're on a deadline, you can actually go in and do minor edits inside the PDF using this kind of a tool. So there's a lot of benefit to it. And the nice thing is, like, you pay the $128 or whatever it is, and you don't have to pay for it every month. That's just your software and you can keep using it. If you don't particularly like Nitro's layout or their approach, I will include this link. Actually, let me remind myself to do that. And then you can go ahead and go through a list like this that has all the different ones. Of course, they're going to start with Adobe, but there's probably a dozen or so. Let me see, there's more down at the bottom. Yeah, there's easily a dozen, ranging from $60 on up to under $200. So you can find exactly the right combination for you that's going to work for your situation, and make it easy for you to create, edit, modify, combine your PDF files to get them out there. So let's just talk about some scenarios here. So let's say that you have a storefront, right? And maybe you've got how-to guides, maybe you've got checklists, maybe you've got descriptions and details about products or services. But maybe you're really busy. Maybe some of your staff is on vacation with the holidays coming up and all that. You could, if you go back to previous shows, you could put QR codes, right, at different points in your shop. Let people walk up, click the QR code, with their phone, take a picture of it, and that would download the PDF that you've created for them about that product or that service, so they can get the information that they're looking for right there while they're standing in the shop and hopefully make the decision to buy. Same thing for, how-to guides or installation guides. You can make it all that easy for them. You could embed these in newsletters that you send out to your mailing list. You could, like I said, you could include them as part of an electronic invoice that you're sending out, or a receipt for purchase, right? You could just embed it in those emails so they've got all that kind of information in there. You can use these to promote your business, right? So you can use these to send out. You can use these to create training guides for your internal employees. If you think about it, like, the more you think about all the different ways that you need to tell people something, provide them information, by doing this, like putting them on your website, right? And so again, we've talked about having at least that one-page website. On that one-page website, somewhere near the bottom, you could put a stack of things for the types of information that people often reach out to you for. Installation guides, how-to, details, product descriptions, service descriptions. And then, again, that one-page website that we've talked about before becomes a 24-hour resource for your customers. So if they have a question and it's outside your normal business hours, that doesn't have to be a stopping point for them, because they can go there, go down, find what they want, and keep going. That is a huge plus for your customer experience. That is always going to be a win. Also, it's going to help with your SEO. Okay, so how does that work? By putting them on your website with a clear, well-defined link, right? The text for the link should be very clear about what it is they're going to get when they click on it. The bots that do the SEO searches are going to pick up on that, and they're going to see that as an added value that you're providing to your customers, and that is going to help your overall SEO score. Huge win, right? Okay, so that is, in a nutshell, why you should be considering using PDFs as part of your business. At the basic, they're free for you to do. If you're going to up your game a little bit, for anywhere between $60 and $180, you can get all kinds of functionality that is very easy to do. All of these tools have walkthroughs, wizards, tutorials that will take you through the whole thing. And I will go back and I will put into the comments for this show how to set it up on your Mac or on your PC if you don't already have the print to PDF option. So think about it, give it a try, see how it fits for you. For a lot of people, this becomes a really great resource that definitely helps you help your customer, which will help your business grow. And that's what we're all here for, right? All right, everybody, I'm going to do one more check here. It looks like we are good, which is awesome. As always, I invite you to join the mailing list so that you will stay up to date about the show topics. And you will also be getting the newsletter when I start to send that out. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have ideas for the show, feel free to reach out. Go to yourtechcoach.net. There's a contact form there where you can put in your questions, your comments, or your show ideas. All right? Thank you all so much. Sorry for the little glitch there at the beginning of the show, but the important thing is the content was there. When I had the wrong screen up, it didn't matter because I wasn't showing you the important stuff at that point. So have a good one. I will see you next week, the same time. So I do the show at 8 p.m. Eastern time every Thursday. And for those of you who might want to continue this conversation, I will be on Twitch. So it's twitch.tv/yourtechcoach. Probably around 9:30 tonight, where we'll do the post-show hangout wrap-up kind of thing. For a couple of hours, so feel free if you're curious about Twitch or you want to keep talking about this, or if you have any other business tech questions, come on by, ask them. There's a really good group of people sitting over there, and we have great conversations about all this stuff, and you are more than welcome to join. Don't be shy. Just jump in. Everybody's nice. All right, everybody, have a good one. I will see you next week. Bye.